back again to continue to dissect issues as we put particular issues into perspective, because we are Kenyans and Kenya happens to be our business. So that's what we do, and that's what we will continue doing. Remember, we say all these things that we say not because of anything, but because we are Kenyans and we want to be on record. We are trying to answer the questions our generation is asking, and even though we will not answer the question at the end of the day, at least we want to respond to the question. So that's why we are doing all these things we say, and we continue enlightening one another. We encourage views from different people as we gather ideas on the best way we can address our issues going forward. This is because it is very clear from very many people that as a country or as a nation, Kenya, we happen to be having so many problems we are dealing with, but we don't know the real problems of this country, because for the longest we have been trying to address issues in the best way we understand, but at the end of the day we end up not addressing anything. As a people, we have been yearning for change. We want things to be done a particular way. There are those who believe that for this country to get the change, maybe we change the leadership. Others think for us to get the change we need as a country, we need to change the constitution. Others think that this country is on the wrong hands. That's why things are not working for us. For the longest, we have been doing things the same way, expecting different results. In my previous video, there is a video I addressed the change that Kenyans have been yearning since when Moi was president. People thought that Kenya needs change, and for us to get the change we need as a country, we change the leadership. So they said yote yawezekana bila Moi. So they thought if Moi goes, then yote yatawezekana. So we ended up, all the people who came before us went ahead and made sure Moi and all his traces have been kicked out of positions of power or positions of leadership, hoping that after they have done that, we are going to get the change we need as a country to take this country from the level where we were to the next level. So people gathered, politicians organized themselves around particular issues, and they went ahead and chased out Moi with these surrogates. But the question that remains is this: did we get the change that we fought for by kicking out Moi? That question depends on who you ask. Many people have different answers to the same question, but as it is, two conflicting answers can't be right. One person may be right, or both of them may be wrong. So after Moi came Kibaki and his government, and people thought the change now, the answer has been found. But 5 years down, the same people formed that government wanted to change that regime of President Kibaki. Whatever happened, and the clamor for change continued until the point where we are. We are still saying that this country is headed to the wrong direction. Then we need to address issues so that we can bring the country to the right rails, so that it can go forward from where it is. And by that, people think that the best way to do that is to make sure the current regime is not in power. For this country to prosper, we must address the biggest problem. And the biggest problem of this country is the people, the Kenyans themselves. We are the problems to our problems. But we don't want to agree. We are in denial. We don't want to agree that the biggest problem of this country are Kenyans themselves. So that's what I want us to talk about today, because I've seen things happening, and because we are Kenyans and we want to go on record, that's why we want to address these issues one by one. When I say the people are the biggest problem of this country, what do I mean? The people want change, but they are not ready to change. Take, for example, the fight on corruption. There has been so much energy which is put towards the current administration, whereby people are asking legitimate questions. Can you fight corruption? Because people think the biggest problem of this country happens to be corruption, but the people are not ready to embrace the war or the fight against corruption. You have seen in most cases whereby the politicians or the people who mostly squander public money, mastering the arts, they are very clever nowadays, and they are aware of the patterns they will press and when they will press them. So they know that the best way to deal, or the best way to hide and do graft however you want, is to hide behind emotions of the people. Kenyans seems to be one of the most emotional people around the world, because they structure their issues around emotions, that if they want to do something, they will do it emotionally, including electing their leaders. They will elect their leaders based on the emotion, how they feel about their leaders. They don't want to find facts. They don't want to tell themselves the truth. They just want to bank on their emotions as they make their decisions on how they want their country to be governed and how they want things to be run in their own country. And this happens to be the biggest problem, which is standing as a stumbling block for the prosperity of this country. Because for this country to prosper, for this country to go forward, Kenyans must tell themselves the truth, and they must address the real problems, not shadows. You have seen from the past events whereby politicians have mastered the art, and they know if they want to steal, first they must put the people in the pocket. So the people will be the block they will stand on as they do their graft, stealing the hard-earned resources of Kenyans. You have seen around the country whereby governors, or the people who call themselves governors, engaging themselves in graft issues. They have been mentioned on graft. Like, for example, you find somebody has been found with millions of dollars cash money in his house. There is no way a president can fight corruption. It's not possible. That is a lie, because there are constitutional offices in this country which are tasked with the mandate to transact the business of fighting corruption. That is the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Those are the people who work in that independent office. Like for the example I gave, whereby somebody has been found with millions of dollars in his house. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission learns that so-and-so has too much money in his house in cash. So what they do is they summon this person to appear before them so that he can explain the source of that money which is in the house in cash. They first go and get the money, which will be used as an exhibit. When they go to arrest that person, chaos erupt. And who are causing the chaos? The people who are crying that this government is not fighting corruption, so and so is not fighting corruption, there is too much corruption in the country. These are the same people who fight for that person who has been found with millions of dollars in the house. Remember, this person was to be asked a simple question: how comes you have all this money in the house? Then the least they can do is just to explain and say, this money are proceeds from my business, or are proceeds from my salaries, or it's a grant I was given, or the source of this money is this one. the only thing that is demanded of this person is to explain the source of the money in his possession in cash. But people cause mayhem in the street in the name of protecting their own, because the government of the day, or the person who is arresting the alleged criminal, is doing it for political reasons, because maybe so and so is not supporting the agenda or the idea of the government of the day. So they believe it is the government of the day which is using dubious means to profile people and fight corruption selectively, like they apply the law on graft selectively, that they are arresting this and they are not arresting the other person. So people will cause mayhem the whole day. No business will be transacted in town. Everything will come to a standstill as they protest for the release of one of their own, because they think that person is not corrupt, and what the government is doing, or what the authority responsible for fighting graft is doing, is just politics. So they, like, this is how people stand on the way of justice. How exactly do you want the government to deal with corruption if it's not arresting them and prosecuting them in court? Remember, by arresting this said individual, it's like this person was not going to be killed. He was just to be questioned on how comes he has so much money in the house. It is not about killing this person or grinding him into pieces, but it is just answering a simple question: how comes you have so much money in the house? Why are the people causing mayhem? People are the biggest problem of this country. Another example which I have observed is an example whereby a county executive has appropriated money in a way that does not agree with the rules and regulations of the nation or of the country. So the responsible authorities, the EACC and the DCI, goes ahead to investigate how the money was appropriated. Remember, these are not personal money. These are public funds which are used, which should be used for the interest and the benefit of the people. So somebody goes ahead and misappropriates the money. And when that person is asked to come and record a statement on what is going on, he says, I'm not going because I don't agree with this government. This government is fighting me and all that. So the people also are duped into those narratives, and they buy them, and they say, don't go, we are going to protect you, we will protect you, don't go, we will protect you, and nobody will touch you. So that is how people deal with corruption. But they keep on insisting that this government must fight corruption. How exactly do you think corruption should be fought if it's not about using the due process to address the issues? Remember, the biggest scandals of corruption, the biggest graft happens in the counties. That was corruption which was devolved, because counties have functions which they don't do at all, unless you tell me what your county is doing in the field of agriculture, because agriculture is a fully devolved function, which means it is on the hands of devolved units. Go and look at all devolved functions and tell me what your respective county is doing on those functions which are devolved. But each and every time you hear these counties or the governors and the officers of the county saying, this government has not dispersed all the monies, this government has not done this, has not done this. But have you done what you are supposed to do as a county? Because you keep on crying and asking the government for more funds, which you are not using for the interest of the people. Because at the end of the day, you are supposed to serve the people. Devolution was about taking services closer to the people, but not taking corruption close to the people. Because what do you do as a county? So because the politicians have mastered the art and they know how they will navigate through graft. So especially these county officials, the so-called county executive and the legislature of the county assemblies, these are the people who loot. How comes a governor can come and point a finger at another person saying that you have not done this and you have not done this, you have not created jobs? But you, as the chief executive officer of the county, what have you done? How many people have you employed in your respective county? Don't come and lament as if you're just a village man. Come and tell us what you have done as a governor. How many people have you employed in your county before coming and telling us that most people from your counties are the house helps and those people who dig graves? How many people have you employed? How many people have you employed from your county? Or you don't have resources to employ them? That's why when it comes to the real issues now, showcase what you are doing. You will keep quiet and sit in the crowd as a common person who has nothing to show. So as a country, we have so many problems, but the people and how they handle issues happens to be the biggest stumbling block towards development in this country, because we are being used each and every time to cause mayhem, to cause division amongst ourselves, so that these people can continue to rule however they deem fit. Another example, take for example, Kenya used money to bid for Chan to be held in East Africa, where Kenya is one of the stakeholders. It used public resources to develop stadia. It used public money to organize and to come up with everything they are doing right now. But I don't know whether it is overexcitement from the people or I don't know what. The people happens to be the biggest problem we face even on social events. We have already used enough resources to organize this event. The public money which has been used to come up with the stadia and to organize the event until now. How comes then we the people, we go to the stadia, we cause mayhem, and the Chan goes ahead to penalize us, to put more fines on Kenyans? Remember, those money will come from public coffers. Those are unnecessary spending which we should avoid as a people. So the people always are the problem. If it comes to destruction of towns, destruction of property, it is the people who destroy their own properties. Maybe that person has committed a crime and is supposed to be arrested, and the police operate independently. What if they go ahead and arrest maybe a former president? What will happen? The people will burn their own country, because they will say, this government, these police are fighting our people. They are fighting our tribesmen. So they will come and cause mayhem. And it is the same people, and remember, it is the same people who say that the police should be independent. That's why you find those in leadership, because they must balance between development and politics, because you can't do development in a politically unstable country. So they must balance those two things, development and political stability. So those are the people who say, okay, yes, I know those people have committed a crime, they are criminals, but can you excuse them? Can you give them a benefit of doubt? Can you maybe not arrest them? So police ends up being compromised because of the people. The biggest problem is the people. People have looted money. They have looted money and stashed them in offshore accounts, but you can't touch them because of the people. And they are doing that, they steal because they know they have the backing of their tribesmen, because they have structured politics in such a way that a tribe is very much alive. So they know, you touch me, you have touched the whole tribe. But that is the person who have stolen even from his own tribesmen. But the tribesmen keeps on protecting them because you can't arrest them, and they know that. Because they know and they are very sure that you can't arrest them, they go ahead and steal money, do whatever they do, corruption deals, and they get away with it because the people are protecting them. So people are asking wrong questions. They're asking the government to give independence of the police to the Inspector General of Police.